on the elementary side, and put in new ceilings, new lighting, new emergency lighting, just a major cleanup, just to get that all taken care of. And then on the high school side, which we did last summer, but we're going to finish out a couple things. We're going to renovate our family consumer science lab with new electrical, new lighting. We're going to put in professional level sinks so that we can train the kids and work on safe surf certification for them. So it's going to be a major upgrade. It probably has not happened since that building has been built and since that lab was been established. We don't think that's ever had a renovation. So we're excited about that, to get all that fixed. It's 1960s electrical in there. 1960 electrical doesn't work these days.
Sure.
We're going to upgrade all that. And then on our ag side, we're going to renovate that space, new lighting, some paint. We're going to put in 4 welding booths. We're excited about that. We're going to have to put a wall in to separate the classroom from the lab space, but it's going to be a lot of updates, electrical, just to make that space more usable and more functional as we move forward and do more in that area.
Sure. So where does the majority of that $1.25 million go? It sounds like maybe the ag stuff, but I don't know. Where
it's about a split.
Is it? Okay.
Just based on the amount of work. I mean, a lot of it is putting those ceilings. I would say about half of it's going to be on the elementary side of doing all the ceilings and the lights, and then half of it would be then family consumer science and ag together. But we're excited about this. We really think that this shows our emphasis of trying to have programs not just for our college-bound kids, but these are programs for kids that can have careers in the trades.
Right.
And we're able to now provide these opportunities, and that's important to
Oh
us.
my God. And that's, I feel like we are going to get to a point here in the next probably 5-8 years where, schools are going to really have a huge calling to make those programs, robust, and because there's going to be such a shortage of people in those areas, they're going to need workers, and it's going to start at the high school level to introduce them to what the possibilities are in those fields.
And we have a great relationship with Heartland Academy, which is at Richland College. That's our CTE provider, and our goal is to provide those introductory courses like you talked about and have them in our space. And if the kids really have an interest, then they can go down to Heartland and take advanced welding, get into auto mechanics, get into the culinary arts. All of those things are available to them. But what we're going to be able to do is give them an introduction and just kind of show them, hey, are you interested? Do you have an interest here? And if they do, we can provide that next step for them through Heartland and everything we're doing. Now, I think it's time. Maybe it's a political thing, whatever, but it's time as public schools, we really look at how we are branding ourselves, and we got to look at what is it we are doing for our kids to get them ready for that next step. Public schools have gotten a lot of different press, let's say, out there. Well, instead of complaining about what's being said about us, we need to change our image, and and this is one way we can do that. And, at DeLand-Weldon, we're dedicated to finding these different paths to help our kids.
No question. Yeah. And there's school K-12 education has really taken a direction of, like you said, a lot of political stuff rather than, preparing kids for what is next. And, like I said, I really think we're going to get to a point here very soon where there's just such a demand for people in the trades, people in the, in just the blue collar workforce, that is going to be such a demand for that the burden is going to fall on K-12 schools, and the opportunity is going to be really endless, I think, for a lot of kids. So kudos to DeLand-Weldon, because and I don't know what your breakdown is of kids that go to college and would they pursue that 4-year degree, but I venture a guess there's probably a lot of kids that will find value in those programs as well.
Well, I think what we can show kids nowadays, you can graduate from high school and be in these programs, get into an apprentice program, whatever, and make a really good living and find that a lifetime. Take a welder, for instance. If you know what you're doing around welding, you can get hooked up with so many different companies and be there forever. Because you have that trade.
Yeah.
And it's not meaning going and having to do 4 or 8 or 12 years of college. You can go out there right now and make that good living.
Yeah, you'll be pushing 6 figures, in some of those probably a lot sooner than many of your peers in high school would be in some of these jobs.
Welding is the one I bring up, but there's a ton of different things out there. Auto mechanics, diesel
HVAC,
mechanics.
yeah.
You can't find a diesel mechanic.
Right.
If your tower here has problems, who do you call? It's going to be an electrician or whatever.
Yep.
And that's especially a thing. And what are they getting paid to work on this type? We have all these wind farms coming in. And they need people to be working on those.
Yep.
And again, they're paying a top dollar rate for that.
Certainly are. Yep. Catering to where the demand is. I like it a lot. Dr. Michael Tresnak, superintendent of DeLand-Weldon schools. So updating your facilities along those lines. Anything else out of the board meeting from last night?
It wasn't in the board meeting last night, but it's a kind of an ongoing thing. We are strategic planning. We started that process in the fall. We continue to do that. We worked with our staff about a month or two ago of trying to figure out those next steps. But we're really excited about where we're going with that. And one of our key points in that strategic plan is raising our expectations as a school, our expectations of our kids, our expectations in our faculty. That is just a huge piece, and we're trying to really wrap our heads around what that means for us and what we need to do moving forward so everyone knows this is, we're not just going to sit back. It's not the status quo anymore.
Yeah.
We're moving forward.
So is the strategic plan complete then?
Not at this time. It's really a fluid document. We're going to do a lot of work this summer administratively to kind of tune it up and clean it up and make sure where we're going. But as we've talked to the staff, it's like this is an ongoing process. We need your input. And then we need to figure out then those next steps. And so I see it as ongoing for the next year as we're figuring it out. But it kind of guides our direction. And again, the key piece in there, really the most important piece in there is high expectations. We want high expectations.
So what's next in the process of putting this thing together then?
Just continuing looking at what our needs for our staff is,
Okay.
And then looking at what high expectations means in our courses, and how does that work at each grade level? How does that work in English? How does that work in social studies? How does that work in math? What are we really pushing for? What do we want?
Got it. So that will take place over the summer then? Okay.
Summer into next year. So
Yeah.
it's going to be an ongoing process. We're excited about it because I think it's really showing that we want to move forward. We're not happy with the status quo. It's to do that means we're failing, and we need to move forward, and we need to provide the best product we can for our kids.
Remind me, what'd you hear from your community in this strategic planning process? What was their input?
Again, I think high expectations.
Okay.
And then I think they also want to see where we're giving our kids multiple opportunities. Hence, us updating family consumer science, updating ag, bringing ag in, because we just brought in ag this year.
Sure.
Doing all those pieces and parts, that's what the community wants. They want, when the kid walks out the door of DeLand-Weldon High School with that diploma, for it to mean something. And it means that they can be a productive part of society. That's what I think they want.
Okay. So maybe fall-ish, maybe winter break, we'll have this thing put together in its complete form then?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Like I say, it's a work in progress. I keep adding to it. I keep adding a document here and a document there. So it's just kind of a work in progress. I've backburnered it for a little bit to get to the end of the school year.
Yeah.
And then we're going to really tackle into it this summer.
Now, is this your second year at DeLand?
Second year.
Yeah,
Yes.
I thought so. But, man, time flies, right?
It does. It sure does.
Gosh, it feels like it was just the last spring we were introducing you for the first time. But, no. So, with that said, again, anything on strategic planning we didn't touch on you want to put out there for us this morning?
Not at this time. I said again, it's a work in progress. It's not perfect. But our goal is to make the best product we can for our kids.
Sounds good. Well, Mr. Tresnak, let's take a break here. Come back with some more. Dr. Michael Tresnak, Superintendent of DeLand-Weldon Schools, my guest in studio this morning. More to come with him on The Morning Show.
WHOW.
Shane here from Highway 51 Exchange, just south of Clinton. Let us service your lawn and garden equipment for spring with our quick turnaround and service specials for free pickup and delivery. Click our icon on DeWittDailyNews.com for details.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
The big Sandy's rising, sound the alarm.
On the heels of deadly floods, eastern Kentucky and West Virginia are left devastated. Lives have been lost, homes and businesses swept away, and families are struggling to survive. But in the face of unimaginable loss, there's a way to help. Pike County Flood Relief is there, providing hope where it's needed most. Your tax-deductible donation can help deliver food, shelter, and the support needed to rebuild lives. These families have lost everything, but with your help, they can heal. Go to PikeCountyFloodRelief.org right now to make your donation. Every dollar helps. Every act of kindness counts. Together, we can heal the heart of these communities. Pike County Flood Relief. In their darkest hour, your light can make all the difference.
God deliver us.
DeWitt County's #1 source for local news is on the air and online 24 hours a day. The latest local news stories are heard every hour on Central Illinois' news station, the Big 1520 AM and 92.3 FM WHOW. Stream live at DeWittDailyNews.com. They're also heard every hour on the station that's your easy choice, 95.9 FM WEZC. And to read the latest local news on your electronic device, including tablets, iPhones, and smartphones, go to DeWittDailyNews.com. DeWitt County's #1 source for local news is on the air, online 24 hours a day.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. The WHW Morning Show is streaming to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio today, Dr. Michael Tresnak, Superintendent of Monticello Schools, DeLand-Weldon Schools. Pardon me, I was thinking about I got to go to Monticello. I got to go to Monticello today. And anyways, Dr. Tresnak, by the way, I'm having issues with my Facebook stream. I'll post the YouTube link for you to share. If that's, I know you put that out for your folks each morning, but I'll put that YouTube link for you out there, and you can share that. But in the meantime, you mentioned end of school year keeps you busy. What's going on? Tell me about end of school year.
Well, it's really hard to believe when you look at the calendar. You know, we're looking at our kids, or at least our high school kids, graduating the 16th. Our last day with kids is the 22nd of May. Mm-hmm. That's not that far away. When you look at today is the 10th. I mean, so we're looking at 4 or 5 weeks and we're done. And so between now and then, we're going to have prom. We're going to have, again, graduation. We'll have 8th grade promotion, working on some honors nights. There'll be some music concerts. The musicals this weekend. So if people want to see The Little Mermaid, that's going to be Friday night. And
Little
Saturday.
Mermaid, perfect, nice.
So, and they've been working hard on that. So, it's just, it is what the end of the year is. You pull the calendar up, and between track and music things and graduations and honors night, you're just not home that much.
Well, and I'll tell you, I look at the calendar. I can't believe next week is already Good Friday, and then you get to the 21st through the 25th, and boy, then it's really all downhill from there. So hopefully we start to see a little turning of the weather. Those outdoor activities, maybe PE kids can get outside and all of that. But no, good stuff. So end of year right around the corner. We'll be at graduation graduation before you know it. And I know you're you'll have your kids out, or you'll be out before your kids here in Clinton are out, which is interesting.
Yeah, they remind me of that. I don't think they're happy about it, but hey, it is what it is, and we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to getting those contractors in the building and get working on the improvements that we're doing to the building. We're excited.
Sure, very good. So anything else on end of year, or I don't know if this time of year you start thinking about next year at all, or you're planning for next.
We're already thinking. I'm already in budget mode, looking at building a budget for next year, and we try to have that all approved by July, and all those little things are constantly happening.
Gotcha, very good. Well, how I'm sure looking to next year's budget. Wind farm dollars, will that be a part of the picture at that point?
Not specifically in the next budget. It will be part of our levy that we will put together in December, but the actual dollars showing up won't show up until next summer of 26.
Okay.
So and that's going to be real curious to see. I mean, as I drive to work every day, I look over there and see how many cranes, and I don't think they have too many left to get done.
Yeah.
So I think, and most of them are, I think, hooked to the grid and are running.
Yeah. I've seen a few spinners already. So
yeah, we'll see it. That should bring in some nice revenue for us. And I think in the long term, what's going to allow us to do is lower our rates. So to our individual property owners, hopefully they can see a little bit of relief from us having more access to EAV through those wind farms.
Gotcha. Very good. I want to ask you, Dr. Tresnak, you talked about upgrading your ag space. How's this is the first year of the ag program being back, right?
Yes.
Yeah, how's that going?
It went well. We had a number of kids involved in it. Growing pains, we haven't had it for 30 years or something like that. So we're continuing to build, and that was we waited a year to do this renovation that we're doing this summer. This is kind of get a feel of what we needed to do. And that's what's led to the different things we're going to try to get done this summer with that renovation as part of making opportunities. I have a long-term goal. If there's someone out there who wants to donate a greenhouse to us, we would love to get a greenhouse put in. We got the room for it.
I was going to say, you got the space for it out there.
Space for it. We're going to probably be looking to. We need to develop at some point an FFA plot for doing. And
boy, that'd be fun.
So we've talked about even getting chickens and selling eggs, and I think if we had that in place, we would have been able to make enough money to buy a greenhouse with what the egg prices were this year. So, but
yeah. I'll tell you what, though, that spot off Route 10, boy, you get folks, you hold like maybe Friday afternoon or Saturday morning sale of eggs. The traffic on Route 10 alone, you'll have it sold out by noon.
So we're looking at all that. I think just one of our thoughts is, again, with family consumer science and ag kind of working together, is sustainable farming or gardening. What can you do? What can you garden and produce yourself for your own cooking, be it herbs and spices, be it vegetables, and trying to develop that with our kids too.
Yep, for sure. A lot of interesting opportunities could certainly come out of that. Look forward to what the future of that ag program has for DeLand-Weldon. So very good. Dr. Tresnak, 1 minute with you. What I missed today, you want to put out there for us?
Not much. Just we greatly appreciate WHOW giving us this opportunity to really talk about DeLand-Weldon. We know a lot of people drive by us every day on Route 10. Sure. We're excited about what we have, and we continue to build on what's there. www.dwschools.org is our website. We're also on Facebook. Feel free to follow all that and see what we're doing. We're going to have kids win pictures coming up here in the next month.
Yeah, for sure. Just that's so exciting for those kids. Really is a great opportunity. Congrats to them. That's great stuff. Dr. Tresnak, always good to talk to you, sir. Thanks for making time. Yep, for sure. Dr. Michael Tresnak, Superintendent of DeLand-Weldon Schools, our guest in studio today. The morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Network news comes your way next on the morning show.